The reason that a lot of people feel misaligned with the lives that they are living, why they feel like they no longer fit the lives that they live in, or why they feel like they're not making progress, or things feel unclear, it's because they are not living in alignment with their purpose. In most cases, a lot of people don't really know what their purpose is. So in this short video, I'm going to walk you through making consistent progress, take consistent action, so that you can begin to live out your purpose. And the very first step of this system, this is where you get clarity on what your purpose is. There are two things that I like to do to help people discover their purpose. There are more, but I'm going to just go over these two. The first one is go and find 7 people that you constantly interact with and ask them these questions. What do you see as my top values or priorities? What do you see that I am naturally gifted or talented in? When have you seen me the most energized or passionate? And what kind of impact do you think that I have on people? And as you are listening to their responses, think about the common themes, the common patterns. What are people seeing in you that you might not see in yourself? And then ask yourself, do I see any of these things that they are seeing? And then the second thing is, what kind of problems around you in the world have an impact on you? Which kind of problem do you want to solve? Do you see yourself solving? Like I said before, everything that we need to live out our purpose is already inside us. We were already given those things. These things were already shaped through our experiences. Think back to your life. Think back to the successes, the losses, the hardest moments in your life that you overcame. What major lessons did you learn from those events in your life? Because more often than not, the things that we experience are what are directly going to help us live out our purpose. They're going to help us directly impact other people. Your purpose is found at the intersection of your passion and your proficiency in the problem you want to solve for specific people. So there's a very specific framework you can follow for your purpose. Your purpose equals your gift or your proficiency plus a specific problem that you want to solve for a specific person. And more often than not, you're going to be able to find the answers to these questions in everything that you've experienced. One of the things that's been the most impactful for me is learning that the people that I want to serve are usually the people that are where I used to be. And now I have the tools to help them overcome it or to avoid it because I already went through it. Once you know what your purpose is, now you have to align your actions to your purpose. Before you make a decision, you ask yourself, is this action going to lead me closer or further away from my purpose? Is it going to lead me closer or further away from the person that I want to be? And then you commit to consistency over perfection. What most people do that throws them off track is that they try to do too much too fast. I think that this is a sign that you're operating in fear, because if you truly trusted yourself, you wouldn't need to rush. You wouldn't need to control everything. Instead, you would allow the things that are meant for you to be attracted to you. And as you become the person that you're supposed to be, these things will naturally come to you. So before you make any decision, you ask yourself, is this going to lead me closer or further away from who I'm supposed to be or the purpose that I'm supposed to be living? And then you take your goals and your aspirations and you break them down into simple, practical steps that remove the overwhelm so that there's no choice but to take consistent action. You build systems that empower you to work consistently towards your goals. If you can master this step, you're going to see yourself making progress like never before. But I promise you that the secret is not taking big leaps. It's actually just taking small steps every single day consistently over a period of time. It's becoming more, because when you become more, you produce and achieve more. When you become more, more things are attracted to you. As you create these systems that guarantee your progress, you also have to think about the boundaries. And most of the time when people think boundaries, they think cutting off people or blocking off your time. And those things are very important. But when I'm talking about boundaries here, I'm also talking about the boundary of time that you're putting in to your work. See, some of us, we do too much. We work for too long. There was some of us that will work for 10, 12 hours. And while sometimes that's important and necessary, doing that all the time is not actually going to help you out. Because again, if you truly trusted the process, if you truly had faith that things are going to work out, you won't need to try to control and to rush and to do everything you can to make things happen, because again, you're forcing it. So sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is cut yourself off. Give yourself 2, 3, 4 hours of work time. And once those hours are done, you move on. One of the things that I do that really helps me as well is just time blocking. So instead of having just free reign to do whatever all day, I tell myself from this time to this time, I'm working on this specific thing. And it's usually a big project. And once that time is done, I stop and I move on. And then I move on to my next task. And the same thing. I give myself a very specific amount of time. And once the time is done, I move on. And this has actually allowed me to be more productive because one, the time slots are very intentional. And then two, I'm setting boundaries for myself. It forces me to focus on the task at hand and not on everything else at the same time. And then it also gives me a goal. I got to get this done in this amount of time. But at the same time, it also helps me be controlled. It helps me not rush things. Because when I cut myself off, I'm now making time for other important things. I'm not making my whole life about work. Now, this system seems very simple, and it is. And of course, there's a deeper dive into the system, and there are more components to it. But if you just follow these 3 steps, which are find out what your purpose is, align your actions to your purpose, and set up systems that guarantee success, if you can just do those 3 things, you're going to see progress like never before. But it does begin at the purpose level. Spend more time closing in on what your purpose is and understanding it, and then spend time operating in that purpose, operating towards that purpose. If there's a day where I start to feel stuck, all I have to do is walk towards my purpose. For example, I know that my purpose is to mentor people and that my words have an impact on people. I've always been able to give people advice and be patient with them and break down very complex ideas into simple terms that they can understand. I've always been able to take overwhelming goals and actions and break them down into practical steps for people. And through that, they've been able to make progress. They've been able to change their life. I've been able to give a level of wisdom and insight to people that has allowed them to literally transform their life. Now, I can do that in any capacity. I've done that as a teacher for 6 years. I've done that as a head coach for 6 years. I do that now as a private coach. I do it now as a mentoring consultant. If I ever got stuck, I'm not going to say, I need to go teach. I need to go to work. Instead, I'm thinking, okay, how can I become better today at what my purpose is, at being a better mentor? How can I make my words more impactful? How can I serve people better? And I've always learned that as I leaned into those things, I made progress. I never remained stuck. The reason that you are stuck is because you are not moving towards your purpose. Because as you're walking towards your purpose, you're going to realize that there's always a challenge, there's always impact, and there's always people to serve. So if you are stuck, that means that you're not in alignment with that purpose. If you need any additional help or to think through your purpose and how to align your life, your actions, and your systems, you can DM me or you can email me at mentormebray.com. I would love to sit with you and talk to you and help you make sure that your life is aligned with your purpose. Because I know when we live in alignment with our purpose, we are able to impact the world. And that's what we are here to do.